Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. As long as you click on this video, so this topic, it is very interesting for you because this topic is only specified for those who are willing to take the pilot certificate for advanced operations. So before I started, and I want to share with you my tricks and how did I manage to pass the exam, as this exam really took from me a lot of attempts, as maybe I tried to share with you this, but let me do it in this way. So like that's how many times I took the exam. Is the exam difficult? Yes, it is very difficult. It took from me a lot of reading, believe or not. It took me like more than 2 months of reading because there are so much information, so much very important information, so much very critical information. If you miss one single small note, that will affect on you later when you operate your advanced operation and fly your drone. Flying a drone is really something critical and require from you so much focusing and so much careful and so much procedures you need to take care of. But by time, it's gonna be a muscle memory. At the beginning, you will look at it as, oh my God, this is not for me. This is very difficult. This is a lot because you have to take like a human factor. You have to take to consider the weather. You have to consider the navigation. You have to consider the law of air, so many things. So without further ado, let me jump to my presentation that I prepared for you. And let me do a share screen here. Just give me a second. And let me share my screen with you. And let's talk about this together. So the pilot certificate, before we start, I will not reveal secrets of the exam because this is confidential information. So I cannot tell you what's inside the exam, but I'm gonna tell you the headlines, my tricks that I used, and how did I pass the exam. So first thing first, the pilot certification and the pilot certificate of advanced operation, in order for you to have it, you have to go through 4 steps. Step number 1, you have to be over 16 years old. Step number 2, you have to pass the small exam, the small basic exam. Then you have to pass the small advanced exam, the one that we are gonna talking about today. It is the big stone on your way. And then we have to pass the flight review with, and have to be performed by a flight reviewer at a flight school. So you have to, you should go through these stages. Definitely if you are like over 16 years old, so you have to go through these stages in a sequence. You cannot skip one, or you cannot jump from one to like number 2 to number 3. So in order for you to have the flight review, and then you will apply to the pilot certificate, so you have to go through the steps one by one. Let's jump to the questions. As you know, before you sit for the exam, this information is very known and very available, so nothing secret, but I try to tell you how it goes. The exam is 60 minutes for those who never sit for the exam. So the exam is 60 minutes and you have 50 questions. As you go for the small basic exam, it is 35 questions and 90 minutes. So you have so much plenty of time to think, to revise your notes, because it's an open book exam, so you will have time. But the advanced exam, the small advanced exam, is the challenging one. It is really challenging, I can tell you. So you have like 60 questions, 50 questions, 60 minutes. So you divide 60 minutes over 50 questions, so you have minutes and 20 seconds per question. Is that how I calculate it? No, of course not. So I will tell you how did I work on the exam, and How did I manage the 60 seconds and the 50 questions? So the 8 divisions of the exam, you have the air law, air traffic rules and procedures. You have the RPAS airframes, and you have the power plant and systems. That is section number 2. You have a human factor, you have radio telephony, you have meteorology, you have navigation, you have flight operation, and then you have theory of a flight. All these 8 sections are the main sections of the exam. But how the exam goes? The exam goes like this. So I reshuffle those blocks. The air law, air traffic rules, and procedures are 14 questions out of 50 questions. So it's a lot. It's a big portion. 14 questions is really a big portion. Then we will jump to flight operation. It's 7, metrology 6, then RPAS, airframes 5 questions, human factor 5 questions, navigation 5 questions. Then the last category, which is 4 and 4, which is the flight theory and the radio telephony. So I divided them based on color, and each color are the portion of questions. Does radio telephony sounds like, oh, I have only 4 questions, so I can make mistakes easily with them? No, it doesn't work like that. Why? Because you have 4 questions out of 50, so you have no idea how many points for each question. So like in total, we have 50 questions, and we don't know how they divide the point. That is a secret. I never able to know, and it's a secret for Transport Canada, and that part you won't be able to know. So in order for you to look at the questions like that, that's how you should think when you go through the air law, air traffic rules, and the procedures. 40 questions, that is a lot. So if like 3 topics, we divide 14 by 3 topics, so it's like more than like 5 or 6 each questions per section. We don't know how they split and how they divide, how they distribute the questions, how they distribute the marks. So in order for you to go section by section, you have to know how many questions will come to that section. So for me, I master number 1, the air law, air traffic, and the procedures. And then I master the flight operation, I master the meteorology, and then I go less to the human factor, navigation, RPS, and theory flight, and radio telephony. So I go like from the biggest portion to the smaller, to the smaller, to the smaller, in order for me to able to score high. Because if you manage to score 14 questions right out of 50, so you're gonna increase your chance to pass the exam. And then the second trick, this is the first trick that I am willing to share with you. The second trick that I am willing to share with you is that when you go and you're facing the 60 questions that you are going to solve, and you have to solve, let me close the share screen first so I able to look at the camera well. Yeah, stop share. All right. So when you go to the 60 questions that you have to solve, and you have to manage the solutions for them, what I did actually, I go, first of all, you are able to skip the question, and you are able to go back to your question. That is a good news. So what I did, my procedure and my strategy, that I have to go fast with the 50 questions. I go all over all of them one by one. And when you reach question number 50, you will get the button end exam. But even you click on it by mistake, and you still have questions that haven't been solved, the exam will not turn off. If you solve all the questions, and then you click the button of end the exam, it will ask you, there is a message will pop up and asking you, do you want to end the exam, or you want to revise your questions? So they give you the chance that you will not kill yourself by mistake. So My procedure, I go the questions one by one from 1 to 50 very fast. The questions that I know and I'm very sure about the solution, I will just solve it and jump to the next and jump to the next. So let's say I'm stuck in question number 3. I don't know it. So here is my note. I have my note here. If you can see it, and I just have this note after I just finished the exam. Actually, I just passed the exam. So for example, question number 6, I'm not sure about. Question number 7, I'm not sure about. So I prepare this paper next to me and I prepare my pen next to me before I start the exam. I prepare my notes. I prepare my sources, my notebook, everything, because it's an open book exam. So I make everything prepared before I press the button of start exam, because once you click the button start the exam right away will start. You have no chance to pause it. You have no chance to undo it. No, you have to go for it. So I go very fast into all of these questions until I reach question number 50. Then I revise. Okay, let me go back to question number 1. And do I know the answer? I will think and I will check my notes. And if I don't know this or that, if it's not in my notes, if I don't remember the information, so I will chop them down, because most of the questions are logical questions, very logical questions. So when he asks you a question and you are not sure about the answer, just try to eliminate. So let's say, oh, A is not the right answer. B is not the right answer. So we have C and D. So between C and D, which one is the most logical answer? You choose that. So that is for the questions that you are really, really, really not sure about. You do that trick and that way of solving questions. What else we have to talk about? That was it. Once you are done with the exam, congratulations, you pass it, or sorry, unfortunately, you fail. So you will receive the email right away, and you will get notification in Transport Canada website, and it will tell you you pass or you didn't pass, your score, and you will get the sheet of the exam like this one. You will have it in a PDF form, and you can print it and look at it. And they are very honest and they are very transparent. Actually, they will tell you where was your mistake exactly, in which section, but he will not tell you the question again. You are unable to record, you are unable to ask help from someone, you are unable to share the exam with someone. These are breaking the law of the exam. So you cannot do any of that, but they will tell you, like, for example, in the air law question, you have this and that. I don't want to tell you my mistakes because that is confidential information, but it will tell you specifically where you had made your mistake. So if you fail, you will look at that part, and that particular section, you go and revise it, and you go and recheck the information. Like with radio telephony, I have a question about part of it, and I was like really sure about it, but then when I revise and I still have time, I managed to fix my answer because I was choosing the wrong option. So that is everything that I would love to share with you. If you have any questions, just put them down in the box. You can contact me, you can whatever, and I will be very, very happy to help you, because this exam is really, really challenging, and it is really beautiful. Once you study it very well, it will add for you like so much information, so much knowledge you will never be able to be aware of until you pass this exam. And then you will go to the flight review. So if you are good with flying your drone, the flight review, it won't be difficult. And then next, if you will be, if you pass the flight review, then you will be able to get the pilot certificate. And after that, you want to be a pilot reviewer. That is allowed. You want to go for a special operation license. I think that is another, yeah, that's why I left. That's another challenge. That is a big, big obstacle, is the special operation pilot certificate. So I don't want to drag this video longer and further. Just do your best, study your exam, look at the divisions that I managed to share with you and I prepared for you. So I will put for you down below in the link all the resources that I used to study, and feel free to use them. And I wish you all the best with your exam. And if you fail, I just want to tell you something that I faced. If you fail, it's not the end of the word. Just look at your mistakes and then retake the exam again. And I wish you the best of the luck, and I wish you will pass it from the first attempt. That is everything from me, and see you in the next one.